Hello, dear students. In this lesson, we shall discuss the ways and means of search for legal materials. For every legal professional, be it a student or practitioner, having the latest up to date information about any law is always essential and advantageous, and every student must know how to search for these legal materials and how to retrieve them and how to process and analyze them. In this lesson, initially we shall try to understand what is the meaning of legal materials. Probably you are aware that law may be in various forms, either in the form of a statute or ordinance, a rule, regulation, bylaw, a judgment, or any other accepted form of law. And the primary question is how to get access to these legal materials. Before we come to search for the legal materials, let us try to understand different forms of legal materials. Primarily, law is mostly in the form of legislation, which is normally in the form of an act, also called statute, as passed by the competent legislature and assented to by either the president or governor of a state, as the case may be. And the law also may be in the form of ordinance issued by the President of India under Article 123 of the Constitution, or Governor of a state under Article 213 of the Constitution of India. If the law is in the form of delegated legislation, that is, in the form of rules, regulations, bylaws, schemes or notifications, one must have an access even to such delegated legislation, because for all practical purposes such legislation also is a very important legal material. Another form of legal material which is quite essential is judgment, because the judgment can be a very important source of law. Judgments have to be analyzed or applied as precedents, and the judgments, when they are reported, will become an important source of legal material. Reports. There are number of reports given by either joint committee of the parliament or a committee of the parliament or state legislatures or certain commissions of inquiry, and all these reports also contain lot of legal material pertinent to the identified issue. Apart from this, legal material also may be in the form of treatises authored by eminent authorities like Chitti on contracts, Mullah on civil procedure code, Sarkar on evidence, Nani Palkiwala on taxation, so on and so forth. Apart from that, the legal material also may be in the form of commentaries. For instance, Durgadas Basu has written commentaries on the Constitution of India running into almost 30 volumes, and which is a voluminous work and a scholarly work in every respect, and which gives lot of information pertaining to law. Apart from this, the law or the legal material also may be contained in foreign judgments. The judgments given by some of the leading courts in the world, like the Supreme Court of United States of America, the House of Lords of England, High Court of Australia, Supreme Court of Canada, or similar courts in some of the developed countries. Therefore, when we refer to the expression legal materials, they may cover all these forms: the statutes, ordinances, delegated legislation, the judgments of the Indian and foreign courts, the reports of various committees, commissions and other bodies, treatises and commentaries, so on and so forth. Now, the next important question is where to search for the legal materials, that is, searching for and locating the legal materials. In the good old days, it was quite difficult to get access to the legal materials, as very few sources were available those days. Mostly they were in the libraries of academic institutions, the courts, or the legislative houses like the parliament or state legislatures. Barring that, very few sources for the legal materials were available. With the passage of time, today there are numerous resources of legal materials, which may be in the form of the libraries of various academic institutions like the universities, the colleges, the libraries of the courts, right from the Supreme Court to high courts to lower courts, state and central archives. In fact, these archives under the control of the government of India or the government of states consist of lot of publications relating to many centuries old legal materials in different languages, including the laws made during those times, which could be found in the official languages at that time. UN depositories, United Nations depositories, also contain lot of information about the legislative developments that take place within the United Nations, the judgments given by International Court of Justice and other similar bodies. And these UN depositories are found in some of the universities like Osmania University. Parliament and state legislatures also contain lot of literature relating to law in their libraries. And another important source where one can find legal literature is the court. The Supreme Court, the high courts, other courts, even tribunals including service and administrative tribunals. Today, it is easier for any person to get a judgment certified by the court by applying for a certified copy. Then, as far as the higher courts are concerned, if the concerned court or the judge feels that a particular judgment deserves to be published, then that is marked as reportable and it is made available to various law reports and law reporters, including the official websites. Therefore, naturally such judgments come into the public domain. Otherwise, the interested persons may obtain certified copies of such judgments. Another important source is gazettes published by the central government as well as state government. Every statute passed by the concerned legislature or every government order is published in these official gazettes extraordinary in official languages, English as well as Hindi, and they constitute the authentic sources of these statutes. All the publishers, more particularly the private publishers, they obtain copies of these gazettes and publish them in the form of bare acts. Apart from this, we also have statutory gazettes. For instance, as far as the intellectual property offices are concerned, we have certain gazettes called Patent Gazette, Trademark Gazette, which are periodically published by the Controller of Patents and Registrar of Trademarks, so on and so forth. They also contain lot of legal information. It may be noted that the list mentioned just now is only illustrative, but not exhaustive in nature. Now, let us look at the most common resources where we find access to legal materials. We know that law reports are the primary sources of legal material, and these law reports could be either official or private. For instance, Supreme Court publishes the judgments delivered by it in the form of SCR, Supreme Court reports, which is official. Apart from that, there are number of private publishers who publish not only the judgments, but also the statutes made by the different legislatures, sometimes even foreign legislatures, including foreign judgments, depending on their importance and relevance. The periodicity of these law reports could be either monthly, fortnightly, weekly, and sometimes it may be daily also. These reports could be either in the form of a hard copy, that is print mode, or even electronic form. Some of the most popular law reports in India include All India Reporter, popularly known as I.R, published from Nagpur. This is one journal which is almost 100 years old, which publishes the acts, the articles in journal section, judgments of the Supreme Court, various high courts, so on and so forth. And probably this is one of the oldest unofficial law reports in the country, though it is recognized as one of the law reporters by the courts as well. Apart from All India Reporter, we have Supreme Court cases published by Eastern Book Company from Lucknow, and For the last about half a century, this particular journal has been publishing quality legal materials in the form of Supreme Court cases, which was a fortnightly, then it has become a weekly. Now, there are different versions, like one for criminal cases, other one is general, so on and so forth. And along with I.T.R, SEC also occupies a preeminent place among the popular law reports in the country. Apart from these, we have other journals like Criminal Law Journal, the Madras Law Journal, Andhra Law Times, the Supreme Court Journal, so on and so forth. And these journals have been doing yeoman's service to law reporting in India by obtaining copies of judgments and statutes from the concerned courts and legislatures, and they are bringing this very important legal information into the public domain. Then there are certain special reports also. These reports, mostly unofficial, they cover only the cases pertaining to a particular area. For example, PTC, Patents and Trademark Cases. This is one journal which reports only patent cases and trademark cases. I.T.R, Income Tax Reports, which deals mostly with the tax related judgments and laws. Raj, Recent Arbitration Judgments, mostly confined to arbitration matters. SEBI and Corporate Law Journal, mostly dealing with the investment and securities. Labor Law Journal, labor and industrial cases, so on and so forth. So, those lawyers who are specializing in a particular area would do well to get access to these. Apart from these reports, the other sources where the information is available include Law Commission reports. In fact, more than 260 reports have been published by Law Commission of India, and all the reports are available in their official website, that is www.lawcommissionofindia.nic.in, which is open to all, and it is a vast reservoir of legal materials with lot of research done by the members and others. These reports contain lot of comparative literature, the judgments on a given point, the lacunae in the laws, the suggested reforms, so on and so forth. The students would do well to read the relevant reports of the Law Commission of India. Apart from this, we have Halsbury's Laws of England, again which is a very rich source of the laws relating to England. And we also have a series called Halsbury's Laws of India, Corpus Juris Secundum. Then the law lexicons like Ramanatha Iyer's Law Lexicon also provide lot of legal information and cross references to various judgments. Then the legal dictionaries like the Black's Law Dictionary or Webster's Law Dictionary, they also give abundant literature on various concepts, case laws, and the position in other countries. Now, let us discuss about electronic sources. Nowadays, the citizens prefer to be netizens. Every citizen wants to be a netizen, and every person associated with law wants that all the information should be available to him in the form of an electronic gadget. be it a laptop, a desktop or a cell phone, so on and so forth. And realizing the extensive use of information technology in the legal profession also, the government, the courts and even the private players have come forward to provide number of legal databases which could be online and other databases. These legal databases, which were initially released in the form of CDs and DVDs, today are replaced by mostly the online databases format. They contain compendium of statutes, all the statutes passed by the Parliament. They may be available in the form of only a website, or compendium of judgments right from 1900 or maybe 1800, if at all any material is available, to the present. Information could be procured in the form of a database. There are number of official databases and also unofficial databases. For example, the Judicial Information System of the Supreme Court of India, it is called JUDICE. This particular system consists of the judgments of the Supreme Court of India and also of several high courts, and Supreme Court cases which are published in SCR journal since its inception in 1950 till date are available on this website. And most of the journals contain not only the text of the judgment, but also the head notes, which will help the users in reaching the point they are looking for very fast. And some of the high court judgments are also available on this particular website, and it is free of cost. Similarly, we have another free database called LII of India, Legal Information Institute of India. This is a joint work of Indian Law Institute, some of the national law schools and others. One good thing about this LII of India is that it contains latest information also pertaining to various courts, including the Supreme Court, High Court, tribunals, so on and so forth. And only problem is that it may not contain head notes. It is for the user to identify the point by going through the entire judgment. We also have certain private databases like Manupatra, Westlaw of Thomson and Reuters, which is aimed to make sure that the students miss nothing, and it will serve the most on point documents, and the students can get access to largest collection of legal information with the help of the editorial process, and they can get access to legal resources such as the cases, statutes and regulations, secondary sources, then different practice areas, briefs, trial court documents, public records, expert materials, so on and so forth. Apart from this, Supreme Court cases has come out with its online edition. I.T.R has come out with databases in electronic form and also online edition. There are private publishers like Indian Qanun, all of them provide equal access. Some of them are paid resources, most of them are free resources, because nowadays most of the information available is in the public domain. Now, let us discuss about the other aspects. The students would do well to take certain precautions while browsing the internet, because internet continues to be one of the most important sources of any information, including legal information. For instance, when they are downloading a judgment from internet, they must be in a position to analyze the entire judgment by looking at the head note or long note or editorial note, if at all they are provided, or else they have to go through the entire judgment. And it is quite common to find that when a bench is deciding a matter, especially in the case of Supreme Court, there is possibility of a majority judgment as well as a minority judgment or dissenting judgment. The student must be able to distinguish between the ratio of the judgment, that is the decision of the majority number of judges, and also the dissenting opinion of the minority number of judges. One. The second one is that they must also realize that head notes may not correctly reflect what is contained in the judgment. Therefore, it is always advisable to go through the entire judgment in order to find out what the court in fact has stated or decided. Another important aspect is about the possibility of human error while writing long notes and also editorial comments. Therefore, while using the internet sources, the authenticity must be confirmed first. Then after that, one must also cross check the other standard resources before coming to a particular conclusion. Well, dear students, to say in conclusion, I must inform you that right now most of the law students are in an enviable situation. They have access to most of the databases, online and offline, most of the free databases. The only challenge before them is to identify the proper source, that is one. Then again to apply their own mind while retrieving this data and analyzing the data, and they must be able to distinguish between the comments made in scholarly journals and reports, or even the reports of the Law Commission of India, and also the bare acts which are published by various private publishers, the gazette publications, so on and so forth. But any student or any legal professional who has access to the latest information is miles ahead of others, because what is good judgment today need not be a good judgment tomorrow. There is every possibility of the judgment being overruled. What is good law today need not be good law tomorrow, because laws keep on changing depending on the times and needs of the society. Therefore, the best weapon in the armory of any law student, legal researcher, advocate, judge or academician is to get the latest, up to date and accurate information pertaining to any law or legal material that will always provide the much required edge over others. I sincerely hope that you have enjoyed listening to this lesson. Let us meet in the next lesson. Thank you.